let you know. Please kindly, let's rise as they come in. Please, shall we have our seats? Please, let's sit. Please, let's. Shall we have our seats? Please, let's have our seats. Thank you very much. Okay, so on this note, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, some can't hear over the sound. Okay, so on this exciting note, and on this very traditional note, we are all welcome to be here. And it is important we leave the affairs of our gathering here in the Lord's hand. To do this for us, we have, thank you very much. So as I said, it's important we leave the affairs of today's gathering in the Lord's hand. To do this for us, we have here Gifty Safo to pray for us.
Thank you. Please shall bow our heads in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you this evening for such a wonderful gathering. It is our prayer that the Spirit of God will take charge over this program. We pray that you will use our speaker to speak to us. Help us so that we will be leaders with knowledge and integrity to be able to mentor the upcoming generation to help inform patient care. These and many more we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. You must be also for Mommy. So on this note, please let's have our seats. Thank you very much for coming here. So once again, good afternoon, esteemed professors, deans, directors, heads of departments, guests, invitees, staff, students of this very great institution. Today, we are igniting a spark of purpose, courage, transformation right here on the Onlep Fireside Leadership Chat. For those of us who are joining online, you are at the right place. You clicked right. We are at the Professor Idaho Auditorium in a very esteemed, great institution of University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ho. Today, we have a unique program, one that hopefully will spark the light in us, in our hearts, and probably this light will spark for generations and burn so bright that we will make great impact. The theme for our discussion today, or our session today, is Leadership Spark. My name is Eunice Konate. I'm with the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics. Some are wondering why we are here. To do this, we have a very abled woman. She's made impact herself. She's a true leader in her own right, and we all know her, and she's a mother to many of us here. Please. So she's going to tell us the purpose why we are here and also officially welcome us. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our very own registrar, Miss Ya Amankopuni. She's here already. Thank you, Madam Registrar.
Thank you very much. I'm following the footsteps of my Vice Chancellor. She never allows for a profile to be read in full before she steps up to do what she has to do. Good afternoon once again, and welcome to the #1 university in the Times Higher Rankings for this year. We are #1, UHAS. In Ghana, we are also #1 in SDG 8, and then #1 in SDG 3, and then I think we came 3rd in SDG 1. Can you give us another round of applause? If you have been at our city auditorium at the main campus, where we call the China Phase 8 Phase 2, this is also our 2nd auditorium, the Professor Kofi Anido-Ho Auditorium of this noble institution. And this afternoon, our first cohort on the Onlep program this year have had some extensive formal engagements. And so this afternoon is the Fireside Leadership Chat, where we're going to have one esteemed professor. And before I continue, let me acknowledge her. Professor Dora Bondo, the former Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, is going to be our keynote speaker and will be engaging us this afternoon. I also acknowledge the presence of our Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Frank Edwin, our VC you already know, Professor Lydia Aziato, Professor Wan, who is chairperson of this afternoon's program. And Professor Bondo is going to walk us through on how she navigated and progressed to where she is now. If you care to know, she is the ambassador designate for Canada. So all you Onlep participants here, you are going to be the next VCs, the next ambassadors, the next UN Secretary General, in Jesus' name. We also have our students here. As Professor Bondo shares her experience with how she progressed and navigated through her career path to reach where she has, please take note. This is nuggets of wisdom that you don't get any time in your life without paying fees, but you are getting it free of charge. So you are highly welcomed. I also acknowledge Professor Essien Beidou, the Dean of the School of Allied Health Sciences, who is here. We have the acting librarian, who is also here, Dr. Usman Hawa. I have the CEO of School of Nursing and Midwifery. Do you know who that person is? CEO of School of Nursing and Midwifery, UHAS. Professor, cameraman, can you zoom? He's already, oh. So, Professor Adatara, I acknowledge you. We have our facilitators also, the acting dean of our graduate school is also here. Professor Yanori, you are welcome, and thanks for joining us. He's also a facilitator on the program. So you are welcome. Please just relax as Professor Dora Bondo takes us through this. Thank you very much.
Well, she's not just our registrar, she speaks beautifully too, and she's beautiful. So on this note, as she takes her seat, we've picked pearls of wisdom, and we know that we are so welcome to be here. And personally, I'm excited to carry a lot from our honorable home. Now, we have a very dignified person. She knows herself, so I'll say it very quickly before she gets here. It is said great leadership is about service and vision. Our chairperson today exemplifies these qualities in abundance. She's the first of many, many, many things. Professor One. She's the first female professor nurse, first female vice chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. We are here because of her. She's a decorated nurse, researcher, academic, and advocate for quality healthcare and leadership empowerment. I have to be fast. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome our very own Professor One. Please, can we give her a standing ovation for this? Thank you very much, Prof.
Please have a seat, have a seat. Thank you very much, Madam MC. Her Excellency, the Ambassador appointed for Canada. I acknowledge you, and I'm very humbled that you made time for us. Standing on protocol observed by the registrar, I'll take a few minutes to reiterate why we are here. But before that, may I have the 30 participants for the Onlep projects be upstanding to be acknowledged. So, these beautiful men and women have gone through rigorous training, and they will come back in December to graduate when they finish all the requirements. Please take your seats. Because some of us both online and physical, are here for the first time, we want to give a brief of the university. Our Excellency, this presentation is for you. As you go to Canada, you see what we can collaborate on when you are there. You has, by law, established 2011, started operating in 2012 with 154 students. The only university operating thus far dedicated to training of health professionals, and the only university, so far as I know, with an oncology nurse as the vice chancellor in the whole of the universe. Anyway, we have graduated over 11,000 students, and now we have over 10,000 students. Our mission is to be preeminent in health research. And like the registrar said, the AD Scientific Index this year rated the best 2 scientists from UHAS, Professor Owusu Ejei and Professor Fred Binka. The 4th and many others are also from UHAS. And we are doing very well in this space. What guides all of us is our 4 core values, or ethos, we call it: excellence, integrity, innovation, service, and care. So far, we have 26 undergraduate programs, 25 postgraduate programs, and we introduced a number this year, and more will be added in the coming academic year. Registrar mentioned our placement in terms of the SDGs, but the AD Scientific Index placed UHAS number 3 in the whole of the country. UG number 1, KNUSC number 2, we came number 3. And I think for our young age, we have done well. Give UHAS a hand. Registrar mentioned that we came first for SDG 3 and 8, and SDG 1 who were 3rd for the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking this year. Now, after all these, why are we introducing Onlep, or the Oncology Nurse Leadership Program for the whole of Africa? Why are we hosting it? We are hosting it because we are dedicated to train health professionals, okay? That's number one. We are also hosting it because we are acknowledging the role nurses play in caring for patients with cancer. We are doing it because of the leadership gap in nursing and midwifery in Ghana and the whole of the continent. And so we are preparing our nurses to rise up and take up responsibilities, leadership responsibilities in the health space, locally and internationally. We are not doing this alone. We are doing this with partners. 2 partners implementing and a partner funding, which is also involved in the implementation. So we have City Cancer Challenge Foundation. It's an NGO that operates in cities, and in Ghana, their city of operation is in Kumasi. They operate in Lagos, they operate in Rwanda, Nairobi, and now they've added Abidjan for the African continent. We also are working with International Society of Nurses in Cancer Care, which is a global nursing or oncology nursing body. And the partners we are working with, one is from Australia, Patsy Yates, one is from Hong Kong, Winnie So, and one is from the UK, Julia Downing. For CCAN, we are working with Martha O'Donnell. Now, the funder is Amgen, and Amgen is a biotech company, and they are also involved in the implementation of this project. So the program aims to provide insight, understanding, skills, knowledge, call it, in the areas of leadership, health service organization, financial management, psycho-oncology, stress management, change management, networking, collaboration, research, policy and advocacy, among others. We have a 6-month postgraduate certificate program. It's not a degree, it's not a master's, it's not a PhD. It's a postgraduate certificate program which is run for 6 months. We have a hybrid approach, face-to-face and online. So for the past 2 weeks, our participants have been with us. They will go home and come back again in December. As they go home, they are going to continue online until they come back. So it's a 21 credits program with 7 modules, each attracting 3 points or 3 credit points. Before you can qualify for this program across the African continent, once you are a nurse or a midwife, you should have at least a first degree. You should have at least 2 years experience in the oncology space, whether you are teaching, you are researching, you are in advocacy, or you are providing hands-on clinical service. 2 years minimum. And you must have the potential of leadership, okay? So we are targeting age 35 to 45. We are preparing the next generation of leaders for the nursing and midwifery fraternity. If you have a master's or a PhD, it's an added advantage. For the current 5-year funding, it's for training 240 nurses, oncology nurses, or nurses within the cancer space. The first cohort of 30, the next 3 years, we are going to have 60 participants, and the last year we have 30. If the funder thinks that it's not enough, we'll add more funding and we add more numbers. So for now, we have the funding to train 240 nurses. And so for this cohort, we have participants from 7 countries, made up of 19 females and 11 males. And so from Gambia, can I see Gambia? All right. From South Africa, well, where are you? Good. Kenya. All right. Malawi, yes, Rwanda, yes, Nigeria, and Ghana. All right, so these are participants from the 7 countries. I'm sure next year, because we are going to be 60, the countries will be more. So at the end of the day, why this program? Why is it part of this project or this program? The Onlep program is hands-on. The Onlep program is not a normal lecture. It involves a lot of activities, assignments, etc., etc. We want our participants to have the skills so that they can use it when they go back. And they use their skills to undertake projects, and they come back and defend and showcase what they have been able to do with their skills. And so, rather than they being in the class this afternoon as a last class, we have converted this into a live experience session. And so the Fireside Leadership Chats is to provide our participants and other guests the opportunity to have a prominent person who is a distinguished leader share his or her life experiences. Even though we have more females in the program or the projects, the leader brought in may be a male or a female. But for the very, very first seats, we are bringing our distinguished ambassador. Usually these chats are in a more relaxed environment. So we had a room where the sitting arrangement is like a horseshoe. Could have been better, but unfortunately we don't have such at UHAS. So we are managing the way we are sitting. It's supposed to be a session where how the guest did it is explained, and the participants can ask more questions. And it also provides opportunity for networking during the program or after or before the program. Overall, we are saying that this is the skill, that is how I used it, that is what I achieved at the end. So we are looking at the practical application of the leadership skills that we know of. So for today, we are aiming that after the about 2.5 hours engagement, our participants, and of course our audience, would make responsible decisions. I mean, you can make a mistake, but as much as you have the skill and the knowledge, the mistake will be fewer. We'll be able to get the skills as to how to, walk through, navigate your work environment, to not get lost, but rise up. We want to find out how you can balance work, family, and other roles. Other roles, I'm sure our distinguished speaker will tell us the other hats she wears, or she wore even when she was in active leadership position in the university. And I'm sure some of us will be motivated to do better and do more. If we're sleeping, we'll wake up, and we can have the chance to seek advice on the hazy areas that we discussed during the 2 weeks. For today, it is my singular pleasure to introduce the guest speaker, or the leader that we're going to interact with, or going to have the chat with. The distinguished speaker, Her Excellency, Professor Dora Edru-Bwando, was the first female Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor for the University of Cape Coast from 2019 to 2021 during the COVID hike. So you can imagine how stressful her appointment was. And I'm sure during the conversation, she will give us some insights on how she survived. She's a known educationist, a motivation speaker, and a mentor. And she has an NGO, Dora Edru-Bwando Foundation, which aims at supporting underprivileged female students. We are also targeting more female in the Onlep program because it's known that our leadership in Africa is more patriarchal. So we want to let the females rise up as much as possible. She had her PhD from the USA, MPhil, Bachelor of Arts in English from the University of Cape Coast, her alma mater, where she worked. And she also had teaching English to speakers of other languages certificates in the US again, and had her diploma in education. And of course, she started with the teacher's certificate A. Apart from that, being the vice chancellor, she was also a provost of a college. You know, the bigger universities operate in colleges. We don't have the collegiate system yet. She was also a dean, a head of department, a coordinator. So she has been a leader. So we say that in the Fireside leadership chats, we are bringing people who have demonstrated leadership, okay? And you can attest that all these positions that she occupied had given her the muzzle to be a distinguished leader. Let's give her a hand, please. She was a Fulbright scholar and also had published many, many papers. That's how come she became a professor. And if you were a dean, an HOD, a provost, a vice chancellor, you serve on committees that you can't even count. So definitely, I can't put all here. But a few of them. She was a member of the International Federation of University Women. She was also the chairperson of the Presidential Committee on Emoluments of Article 71 office holders in Ghana in 2016. She served on many, many, many boards. Some she chaired, some she was a member of the university, and other boards locally and internationally. In fact, she's also a philanthropist. That is why her NGO supports needy students, female students. And we know that the students that she supported, majority of them have gone very high. I'm sure she will share some of them with us. Overall, she's also blessed with a son, Dr. Fifi Edru Afo. And so when we say we want to learn from her how she balanced family and work and other responsibilities, she will be able to share with us. So this afternoon, before I take my seat, I am very, very humbled, okay, very humbled that she agreed to come even after her appointment as an ambassador, leaving Cape Coast. The road to Cape Coast, you know, is not very good. Journeying all the way here to Ho to be with us this afternoon. In fact, the students, if your colleagues are not here, call them to join, because what she's coming to share with us, you will not find it in any book. So I want us to just relax. This is supposed to be a very informal, okay, relax. Ask all the questions that you can within the time, and I'm sure you'll take something home. So I present to you this afternoon Her Excellency, Professor Dora Francisca Edru Kwando. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. So now you understand why she's our VC. She's smart, beautiful, and very, 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 you use the word. So at this very juncture, Prof, thank you very much for that insightful perspective on our very honorable guest speaker. But as we are here, we are going to do something quick, an icebreaker. So I would ask a question. Let's warm up with a spark. When I say leadership, what one word comes to mind? One word. Can I hear courage somewhere? Service, awesome. What else? From the back. One, influence, awesome. Another one, integrity. Any other? Impact, innovative. What else? Humility. What else? Courage. And any other? Purpose. What else? Can I hear anything from the back this way? Oh, you are shy. Okay, someone says, I heard a male voice, a deep one. Service to humanity. Let's clap for ourselves. Thank you very much for that. On this note, we are eager to hear from Prof. Prof, it's now time to hear from our trailblazer. She's a woman who has stood the front lines of academia and research. And please, let's keep clapping. I promise you her story is just inspiring and it is igniting. And let's welcome Her Excellency, Professor Dora Francisca Edubando. Thank you, Prof. We are eager to hear from you.
Thank you very much. No, when they say all kinds of beautiful things about you, you have to prove yourself, right? Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Deans present, heads of department, directors, students from Africa on the Onlep program, and our students from UHAS. Good afternoon. I am very happy to be here this afternoon to join you at UHAS for this conversation. I was told that it's a chat, so don't be looking for references because you won't get references. I was asked to talk about myself, how I traveled the journey. So I speak about how I did it. And after I have spoken, I believe that we'll have the chat. And I give you the permission. Ask any question that you want to ask. That's why we are here. So, Professor Dora Francisca Edubando, I know that many people have Googled me and they have seen some of the things that I have done. I just thank God that He uses me to touch people, and throughout my journey, by His grace, I've made some impact on the lives of many who have excelled in their various fields. It is said that when you light somebody's candle, you never walk in darkness because you're sharing the light. So when we gave the spark to others, they also spark for others. So this afternoon, Vice Chancellor, thank you that we're talking about leadership spark. I believe that whatever we will talk about today will help somebody to move on the steps of leadership, especially the women. That you will be motivated to move on from wherever you are to get on the next steps. They say that leaders are born. I do not know. But if you asked me, the first time I saw myself as a leader, I won't be able to point to any time because I was never a class prefect when I was growing up. In basic school, I was never a class prefect. I was never, all the prefects that we know, I was never any of that. But I realized that people looked up to me and they followed me on some of the things that I did. My mother used to say that whenever, and during those days, we went to school in the morning and went in the afternoon. You go in the morning, you close, you go and eat at home, and then you go back in the afternoon for the afternoon session. My mother used to say that, yeah, you always have people following you home. And then when they have to share your lunch, then you say, oh, give my lunch to them and give me toffee. I love to have people, moving around with people. So I realized as I was growing up that I could get people to follow me on things I want to do. But I never had any position in my basic school. I never had any position as a class prefect or as a cupboard prefect, no. But I also noticed that when I am given something to do, I do it. So I wasn't a formal leader, but I always rose to the occasion when I was given the work to do. My parents were a minister of religion and Sofumami, so I grew up in the mission house. And that means going to church a lot. It also means joining many church organizations. And you start with Sunday school. So when there are Sunday school activities, Dora, go and do this, and I did it. And I'm very sure that I learned a lot from those engagements. But apart from those ones, my childhood days, I don't remember being like a formal leader. But I believe that was a start for me. When I moved on in school and went to Commander College of Education, then it was Commander Training College. I went to a college that had 2 streams. It had the post-secondary students and it had the post-middle students. I went to a secondary school, but because I didn't pass my mathematics very well, and I'm still not good at mathematics, so I'm good at other things, but not mathematics. And because I didn't pass my mathematics very well, I had to do the 4-year post-model. So I went to a training college that had those 2 streams. And those who were in the post-secondary stream looked down on those in the post-model stream. It was like, we went to secondary school, we are polished, we are refined. You didn't go to secondary school, so you are now learning how to be a boarder in a school. But I had been to a secondary school, but I was still in the post-model class. Initially, I was very angry. I was angry with my parents who asked me to go, and I was angry with myself because I thought I was better than that. But when I went through teaching practice and I enjoyed teaching, I realized that teaching can be fun, so, well, I didn't want to be here, but now I'm here. Let me make the best out of the time that I will spend here. So it was during that time that I remember that I was thrust into leadership. Because the post-secondary students thought highly of themselves, they were the prefects most of the time. We will vote, and they will gang up and vote for their colleague. But when it got to the year that I was entering the final year, and we had to vote, I saw that some of the post-secondary students wanted me to stand as the women's prefect. And then my own post-model friends also supported me that I should be the women's prefect. And that was the turning point for me, because otherwise I wasn't interested, because it's all post-sec people who become prefect. But that year, in 1986, when they said that, oh, Dora, go, we'll vote for you, we'll vote for you, I felt that, okay, if they have this confidence in me, it means they are entrusting themselves to me. They have hopes that they think I can help them, I can lead them to gain. So I said, okay, then let me show up. Let me present myself. And I did. When I did, the other opponents all dropped out. they didn't even, when I said that, okay, I will also contest the position, the other opponent dropped out. I wasn't very happy that they dropped out, but it gave me the confidence that there is something they had seen in me that they think they would want to put me up there and invest in me. So I became the women's prefect, and I believe I did my work very well. I had support from both groups, and that was a point of uniting the two groups, the post-secondary and the post-middle groups. So I did that. After it, I went to teach, and then I went to the University of Cape Coast. Again, at the University of Cape Coast, I was interested in getting my degree, and I wasn't interested in student politics. So I didn't stand for any leadership position. But I noticed that whenever the hall I was in, Atlantic Hall, was planning any program, they would put me on a committee. I never stood for a position, but they always put me on a committee. So I started gathering a lot of experiences. Sometimes as a student, member of a committee, you have to travel to go and speak to people in authority to get them to sponsor your program. And they will say, oh, Dora, go with them, and I will go. There is one thing that I have always had. If I need to come to your office to ask for something for my institution, I don't mind whether I know you or I don't know you. I will just know, come confidently. If I come and you say that, well, you can't help me, I will feel good that at least I tried. So they always push me, oh, Dora, go with us, Dora, go with us. And because they showed that they believed in me, it gave me a lot of motivation to do the things I was doing. But I wasn't in forefront student leadership. After my first degree, my head of department said, you have to stay here and be a teaching assistant. I was a trained teacher. I was supposed to go back to GES. But he said, no, you have to stay here and be a teaching assistant. I said, okay. It fits into my personal program, my personal plan. Because I didn't want to be a teacher, I didn't want to go to training college. But when I did, I said that, okay, if I'm going to end up in the classroom, then I should teach at the highest level of education. So I'm going to work towards teaching at the highest level of education. So when my head said, be a teaching assistant, I said, okay, it's falling in place, and I must grab it. So I became a teaching assistant. And again, the comfort to me was that somebody has seen something in me that perhaps I haven't noticed. Because my head was very, very sure that I can do the work. Although I felt, no, one day I am an undergraduate student, the next day I'm standing in front of other undergraduate students. But my head had Professor K.E. Youngson, may he rest in peace. He had a lot of confidence in me. So that is how my leadership in the tertiary education started. And because he had a lot of confidence in me, he mentored me to lead. He mentored me to lead. Go, Dora, go and design a program for a certificate. I didn't know how to do it, but I did it. And he guided me to present a good program that he eventually sent to academic board, and it was accepted. And when it was accepted, he said, Dora, you're going to teach that program. So I had people who believed that I can lead in some way. And that was the spark that was shared with me. In life, I've also had occasions where I have been called to leadership unexpectedly. And the Vice Chancellor spoke about the Article 71 emolument. I will talk about that later. I have been put in positions that I have not been looking for. But there are also times that I saw possibilities of things I can do to change situations, and I decided that I will do it. For example, when it came to the deanship, I had to present myself that, yes, vote for me. The first time I lost, but I didn't lose my confidence. So the second time, when it wasn't an election and it was a search for it, I applied again, and then I got it as, no, the first time that was even the deanship. I got elected, and Professor Sembede was my campaign managers. The first time I got it, and then it came to the provost, and that one was by a search committee. And because of the experience I have had, being a head of department, being a coordinator, and being a dean, I think that helped me to prepare myself well for the provost position. But I'm saying this because sometimes leadership is thrust upon you. Other times you yourself see that I can do this, so I must present myself for it. And there's nothing wrong. You don't have to explain yourself by thinking that I need to present myself for this position. And I also believe that because I won some little successes here and there, it gave me the impetus to go on looking for other leadership positions. I had my personal values that helped me to get on to leadership. And again, I will credit my parents. Coming from a mission house, most of the values were developed. I was socialized in them as what people do. So if you're talking about hard work, my father used to say that nobody has died from hard work. So you cannot die from hard work. And he also used to say that if they give you a job to do and you accept to do it, then you should do it to the best of your ability. If you know you cannot do it, please don't accept the job. But once you accept it, you must work very hard at it. So I work very hard. And anybody who has worked with me knows that I work very hard. I work very hard in all aspects of my life. As a lecturer, as an academic administrator, as a parent, as somebody who works in the church, as somebody who sometimes works for the nation, I work very hard because I believe that hard work is for the good of humanity. One other value is innovation, and I'm happy that you mentioned all these words. I try to be very creative in the things I do. So wherever I have been as a leader, I have left a mark. I can talk about the communication skills unit, which was a unit. By the time I left there, it was a department. I made sure that it grew to become a department. At the faculty, as a dean, I made sure that we established a colloquium, an annual colloquium. As a provost, I made sure that we established a college week, the first in the University of Cape Coast, and the first college to even have a cloth to identify itself. So I tried to be innovative in many things that I did in my various positions. And you mentioned integrity. You mentioned integrity. I work very hard ethically. Again, from my background, I know that if this is wrong, it is wrong. You don't have to do it. If it is right, you have to do it. It doesn't mean I am a saint, because as a leader, sometimes you have to let go of something that you know is right, so that you can get people to do many other things that will be right. You need to have the spirit of discernment, and I try to be ethical even under pressure. And I am resilient. I don't throw up my hands in the air. If we're doing something and you tell me it's not going to work, I'll say, okay, let's try. Maybe it will work. And by the time we finish, it has worked. You won't get me to give up easily. Courage, taking tough decisions, yes. And very soon I'll show you some pictures and I'll tell you what I did in those situations. And I care for people I work with. One thing that you can do as a leader, and those of you who are training in the Onlep program, one thing you can do as a leader is to care for people who work under you. Just ordinary, good morning, how are you? How is your family? You don't know their family, but just how are you? How is your family? Goes a long way to open many doors for you as a leader. Because the people who work with you will believe that you care about their welfare. And that is something I learned from my mentor, Professor Youngson and Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. Sometimes you have to give of something you have as a person to help somebody who is below you. It is not your job to do that, but sometimes you need to do that so that the person can work harder for you. So I try to care for the feelings of others, and I tried, this one it is not I try, I do respect everybody, because as a person, one thing I cannot take is disrespect. So I try to give respect to anybody who comes my way. No, you can be anything, a child, an adult, you can be a boss, you can be whatever. I try to respect you. And in the same way, if you refuse to respect me, I will tell you that, please, you are disrespecting me. And I try to serve. I try to serve not just to be seen. I remember at the University of Cape Coast, there was one day that, it wasn't one day, I was put in as a chair for an event, that I was to chair a committee to run an event. After it, the members said, okay, I called them and I said, oh, you've done very well, evaluation, we've done very well, so thank you very much. And then they said, but Doc, at that time I wasn't a professor, but Doc, where is our honorarium? And I said, oh, this one too, you want honorarium? It was just a party. No. I said, oh, all along I've been taking thank you, but you want money. I try very much not to put money ahead of what I do, because you know what is yours will come to you. What is yours will come to you. You don't have to chase it. And I try to be genuine, to be myself. If I tell you that this is what I believe in it. If I tell you that I don't accept what you are telling me, it means I do not believe you. I try to be transparent, and I also admit my mistakes. I'm not a saint. Sometimes I make mistakes. When I became an administrator, I became an academic administrator, a coordinator for a unit. I had an administrator who was, an administrator, a senior admin assistant. And he was a person I learned from. I would do things and he would tell me, although he was my subordinate, he would tell me, Doc, if we do it this way, it won't work. And I learned a lot from him. One, Dr. Peniana, now he has a PhD. But I learned a lot from him. So those of us who are growing to be leaders, we shouldn't think that those beneath us cannot help us. If you make a mistake, you admit your mistake. So with all those values, I didn't sit down. I also built myself. I built my capacities. I went to conferences. I went to workshops on higher education management. I attended many training sessions so that I can build myself for leadership. So what you're doing here is a step in the right direction. It is a step in the right direction, because by the time you finish, you would have garnered a lot of knowledge and skills that will help you to go beyond others who haven't had this, and I'll call it a privilege. I was in higher education management, so I looked for higher education management workshops and I attended them. Sometimes the university will pay for you, other times you have to pay from your own pocket. I tried because I wanted to be the best. So I tried with that. And I read not my literature and storybooks, but I read other people in higher education management. And on the job, I developed management and leadership skills. I also tried to keep up with the world and to build networks. So these are all things that I did to help my journey. But I knew that as a leader, whilst I'm building these, there are things that I should take note of. My own self, who I am. Am I somebody who is quick-tempered? No. I like a lot of people, and because I like a lot of people, I like parties too. So when I get the opportunity to bring people around me and provide food, I do that. And I always get people to help me. If you know, when you do that in your offices as a leader, if you are not somebody who is stingy, you will get many people to work for you. I also built my confidence going along. I should learn how to speak to people. I should learn how to behave in public. I did all that. So all these are things that I did, and I'm sure that when we get to the engagement, you ask me some of these things. But I want to jump to the point 4. I am a woman, and I led in an organization that has always been male-dominated. And if you know our culture, you know that there will be challenges. You don't have to sweep it under the carpet, because they are genuine challenges. Some of them, if you were a woman and you were a leader, some of the challenges that you face from your colleagues who are male, they are not deliberate. They are unconscious biases, because they have also been socialized in the same culture that you have been socialized in. So you find people who do things that you think, oh, they are out to get me, but they are not deliberately out to get you. It's just that they don't know. But then there are those two who know, and they will do things to make you know that this is not where you should be. But as a leader, you should be aware that you face these challenges, and I had some of them. I had issues with my heads of department sometimes at meetings, but one thing that I'm sure God blessed me with was that I will listen to you, say whatever you have to say. By the time you finish, I have a good response for you, and nobody is angry. And one thing that my mentor shared with me was that when you become a leader, and this one I would like you to remember, when you become a leader, never get angry in front of people you lead. Never get angry in front of people you lead. Because if you get angry at a meeting because somebody said something which didn't make sense, and sometimes people do, and so you get angry, you will say something that will open the door for other people to also say something that is not nice to you. So don't get angry. Let people know, people have bad days. Let them be angry and say whatever they will say. Discern the time that you make your response, and you make a good response. But if you also get angry, very soon you'll be fighting at your meetings. And that guided me in all my engagements at the various positions I held. I have shared my story about a male colleague, who said that he wouldn't listen to me unless I leave the chair for somebody else to occupy the chair. In a disciplinary committee meeting, I was just sitting down quietly looking at him. After he had finished, I wanted to respond, but the other members of the committee said, "Prof, don't respond, don't respond." So they rather responded to him that, you know what, you cannot ask her to leave. And when they had finished, I said, well, I know you are not comfortable with me being in the chair, but unfortunately, I am in the chair. Unfortunately, I am in the chair, and I'm in the chair given authority by the university. So you have to go ahead with the evidence you want to give. or you can step aside and we'll continue with the discussion. He sat down for about 5 minutes and he went on with the evidence he was there to give. So sometimes you meet those biases. Some are genuine, some are unconscious ones, but you need to navigate it. And I thank God that I was able to do that. When you were asked to give words for leadership, you mentioned service. Yes. So the Vice Chancellor gave all my roles. I don't want to give you that, but I want you to look at these pictures, and all these pictures tell stories about my leadership, the values that that I embodied in my leadership. The Vice Chancellor said that I became a Pro-Vice Chancellor during the COVID era. Yes. I became a Pro-Vice Chancellor during the COVID era, and I worked with one Vice Chancellor for 1.5 years, and we had a search, and we had a new Vice Chancellor coming. And as a Pro-Vice Chancellor, I was the chair for Congregation Committee. If you are in academia, you know that to become a Vice Chancellor is like the ultimate. You become a professor, yes, that is the academic ultimate. But to become a Vice Chancellor is the academic administration management ultimate. And so you want to showcase your achievement to your family members, to people, your friends, church people. Now we have COVID. So it means the new Vice Chancellor, and we also had a registrar, a new registrar, it means they cannot invite their people to any celebration. It was just going to be a quiet, changeover. I said, no, we shouldn't do this, because it's a lifetime event. We're talking about resilience. We're talking about courage. And I'm also talking about respect and innovation. So part of my leadership style is when I have critical issues, I talk to members of the committee, some of them to pick their ideas on what they think we can do best. So I spoke to a few people that, I don't think we should do this handing over on the quiet. I think we should find a way of getting this done in public. And I got a few people to support me. So I went to the Vice Chancellor and said, VC, the new VC who is coming, we should do the investiture in public. He said, Dora, are you sure COVID? You don't want people to come and go with a COVID? And I said, yeah, VC. See, now the government says 100 people. I will make sure we have 100 people. So how can you make sure you have? I said, yes, just trust me. I will make sure that we do not have more than 100 people. And we will space a big auditorium. We will space it. But at least the VC will have his family and his friends there to witness his achievement. I negotiated with the Vice Chancellor, and he said, well, we need to speak to the Chairman of Council and speak to the Chancellor. I said, if you give me the chance, I will speak to the Chancellor. Why did I pick the Chancellor? Because I have a relationship with him. I can pick my phone and call him. So VC said, okay, go ahead and let's see if he will agree. When I called him, he said, Dora, this thing, I said, oh, say, we will do it. We can do it. Just trust me, we can do it. So please come. We all wear masks. We'll space up. We wouldn't have any problem. And he gave us the go-ahead. And we did it. And I was very happy that at least I was able to give the new Vice Chancellor some joy. So when you talk about resilience, that even when you hit setbacks, you find a way of picking yourself up and then going on. So we did it, and everybody was happy, including my dear self. And as a leader and a female leader, most of the time, I was the only female around the table. This one, we are 3. And I chaired very sensitive committee meetings. But I was never overwhelmed because I will give everybody the chance to share his or her views. There are some people I served on a committee with here in UHAS, and I'm sure that they will talk about that. I will give everybody the chance to talk because I believe that we have diversified views. This one was a public lecture with the UK High Commission to Ghana then. When you become a leader, you need to know how to present yourself in public. And because I had gone through training, many workshops, I was able to hobnob with people of very, very high positions. The former, and Pelosi, yes, former speaker for US, the President Trump's wife, many other very important personalities. And this one was hosting the Michigan State University Vice Chancellor and his team. I had many experiences. Now let me talk about this one. If you saw my profile, you know that I read English. And I've already told you that I don't do well with mathematics. But when I became a leader, I needed to learn about finance because you must have integrity. If you do not spend time to read what is in front of you, but you just sign, you're going to get into trouble. So I made sure that whenever they brought me something to sign, I read it. If I don't understand, I will ask you to explain to me because I don't know everything in the world. So as a leader, I also learned about projects, how to execute projects. And this one, we were visiting UCC projects with the then minister and with my vice president. And this one about one of the things I enjoyed doing, encouraging students. She was the best nursing student. She was the best nursing student for one cohort in our university. And I was very, very happy to congratulate her. Another thing I got on my sleeves that I use, the confidence to approach people. And this was when I led a committee to go to the chief of Nyakrum to negotiate about land. And if you know our cultural setup, even when we go to funerals, accounts, and we're going to greet, the women should be at the back. It is the men who lead, and the women will be at the back. But here I was to lead, a woman to lead the men to go and speak to the chief. And the Nyakrom chief, it's not an ordinary chief. But the confidence that I had to go and do that, and for him to listen, he and his people to listen to me, I got a lot of experience from these. So all these engagements helped me. Then I also realized that leadership is service. It is not just gathering the accolades. You are the leader of this, you are that, you are that, you are that. But it is also service. Service to your community, service to God and your country. So when I said that, sometimes you are called unexpectedly to take up a position. This was one of those calls. I was called unexpectedly to go and chair the Commission on Emoluments for Article 71 holders. And Article 71 holders include the President, Vice President, all the ministers and all the parliamentarians, EC, and many highly positioned people. And when they called me, at first, I behaved like, was it Isaiah who said that I am unclean and I come from people who are unclean? When they called me, the first thing I said was, I'm not a known party member. They said, yes, we don't want a party member. And then I was looking for the second excuse. I don't know math. I don't do finance. I'm not a finance person. I don't do accounting. I don't know about salaries. They said, yes, there is an expert in the team who is a specialist in that. So the person will support you. And then I was looking for a third excuse to give why I wouldn't take that leadership role. I couldn't find any. So I said, okay. Then when we went to be inaugurated, I told my son first that this is the call I've had. I don't know who mentioned me, but somehow they want me to do this. And knowing Ghana, the way we are divided into green and blue colors, I don't want to do this. And then he said, well, see it as a call to serve God and country. And that ended it. When we were inaugurated, the president said, oh, I know this person, I know this person, I know that person, but I don't know the chair. And one of the members said, yes, Your Excellency, you don't know the chair, but she will do a good job. And when you do things and you do them well, people notice. You may not know, but people notice, and they call you for higher service. So this is one of my greatest service to my own Ghana. And I got the opportunity to meet very important people on that service. The president, the former president, late president Jerry Jane Rawlings, had a good time with him and his wife. The late vice president, Ms. Arthur, very key people in the society. President Kufuor, very key people in the society. And what that meant for me was that I widened my network. So if I had not accepted that position, I don't know how I was going to go and meet the late President Rawlings. And I am very sure that it is from how I did that work and many other things I have done that I have been called to this new position. So do not, if you are a leader, do not see any stage as the end of the call. Because if you do it well, you will be called to do other things that are of higher request. And as I said, I met many people on that. Another part of my service to my leadership as service is how I advocate for good communication habits. I advocate for that, and wherever you find me talking, I will mention that it is not good for you not to speak well to people, to be rude to people in your speech. It is not acceptable. And this one, whether you are a leader or not, it is not acceptable to do that, because that is not how societies grow. And I had the opportunity to talk to the whole Ghana about this during my inaugural, and it was carried very, very far. And I'm happy that I'm sure I made an impact on our society. Apart from that, I have presented myself to serve my communities in different ways as a motivation speaker. This was when I was asked to speak about myself as a human book to students. Students should read me. I also went to a basic school to get them to read. I have done many speeches for women organizations. I have been on table with very, very high personalities. And the last engagement was just last Saturday at Holy Child College of Education as a guest speaker. I have also mentored many people. Although I have only females on the screen, I have mentored many males, colleagues, junior colleagues, who have risen up to be professors, risen up to be directors in their companies, risen up to be men of merit. And what I have here, I have two groups. One is female lecturers. The other one is somebody I've been training for a very long time to become more than who I am. She is here. And That picture was taken in Rwanda. We went on an educational trip in Rwanda. If you are a leader, think about how you can replace yourself. Don't think that you will be there forever. Think about how you can replace yourself. Mentor others to come when you are gone. Don't take everything for yourself. And my passion, the Dora Edubando Foundation that the Vice Chancellor spoke about, we hold seminars and we do many things to encourage young women, especially a few men in there. And with all this going on in my life, I am still very, very active in my church as a leader. If you do not have faith, you do not have stability. I'm not talking about Christianity or Islam, but your faith in God. If you do not have that, you do not have stability. So I work a lot in my church, and in any church that will invite me to come and talk to them, I do that. These two pictures, one is Methodist Church Diocesan Council for the choir, and the second one is Regional Boys Brigade. So I give of myself the leadership skills I have acquired from where I work and get paid. I try to serve my country with it. So my family, I started very young as a single mother. I have one son that I'm very proud of. I'm sure he's watching because I sent him the link, and I thank God for what he has become. He is also taking care of his 3 beautiful daughters and his wife. But aside my son and his family, I have many children. Many, many, many children, more than you can imagine. And they come in phases. Some are friends' children who come to the university. They are there 4 years and they go. Others come and they are forever there. I have many children. I love to have people around me, especially the youth. So when people say that, oh, you don't look your age, I say thank you, because the people around me are young people. They teach me a lot of things. And you know, leadership at home is as important as leadership at work. If you are a leader, it should show at home. You cannot be a leader, a good leader in your office, and be something else at home. And I try to bring all that together. People see me in market doing my own marketing, grocery marketing. There was a time somebody called and I said, oh, where are you, Prof? I said, oh, I'm in the market. I can't hear you. So what are you doing? I said, oh, today is Saturday. I'm doing my marketing for the weekend and for the next week. I said, are you doing it yourself or you drove somebody there? I said, can't you hear the noise? I'm in the market. You know what he said? I'm going to send you money because you went to the market yourself. So please, when you become a leader in your office, you should show that leadership at home. I was able to do all the things I did because I had a good support system. My parents were very supportive. Remember, I said I was a single parent. I was going to school while my son was also going to school, and my parents were very supportive. Apart from my parents, I had friends who supported me, in all that I did to build myself as a leader. So you cannot be somebody who thinks that he or she can do all by himself or herself. Our world is not shaped like that. Learn to build a good support team as you go on in life. And with this, I want the younger people to note. I want the younger people, the students, note that you cannot be the person that you want to be if you do not get support. Learn to build a support system that you can lead on. Schedule family times, my family time with my family, because I was very busy, but at every Sunday we had a family lunch. No matter what will happen in the week, in the Sunday, we will have that. And I also had me time. Now, I'm taking the next steps, and the next steps is taking me into diplomacy. I haven't taken any course in diplomacy, but I believe that my values will help me to get there. And those that I have listed, I'm going to add to what I gained when I was working in higher education. My advice to you as leaders in oncology nursing, aspiring to be great leaders, many years to come, you will say that we were at UHAS and this woman spoke to us. Yes, remember that leadership is not just about positions. It is not about positions. It's about how you influence others. It's about how you inspire change. It's about how you make an impact on others. And in your field, you will make great impact. I'm sure you know, I don't have to tell you, that our contemporary world, what we are afraid of is the word cancer. In our contemporary world, we are all afraid of the word cancer because we don't know what it is. Thankfully, you know. So we will come to you and we would please plead with you that consider us as patients, not as clients. I don't know why they changed the terminology to clients, because we are very, very difficult people to deal with. And if you are a leader in this profession and you do not see us as patients and you see us as clients, you cannot be good leaders. Because we come to you when we are late in coming, yet we expect you to turn us around. When we should have come, we were home trying all kinds of traditional medicine. But when we come, we expect to be healed. And you need a lot of patience to work with us. And as a leader in this profession, please build yourselves up. We know that you have challenges, but when we come and we are sick, we don't think about your challenges. Build yourself up for the leadership that you are planning to gain, so that at the end of the day, as a person, you will tell yourself, I did my best. One thing I always told myself, if somebody comes to my office as a pro vice chancellor, as a provost, if I can help the person, I will help the person. If I cannot help the person because it is not within my power to help the person, when the person leaves, the person should say that, oh, that woman would have helped me if she had the power to do it. And that is what you should do. So I'm encouraging you. We know that you are carrying a huge burden, but I'm encouraging you, especially the women. You know the double bind. We expect double from you. So we can sometimes say that, oh, he's a male nurse, but I don't want the male people to think that way. But if you're a woman, we'll say, so a woman to behave like that. So please, let the people say that if that woman could save my daughter, if that woman could help the team to do something better, she would have done it. If that leader in oncology nursing had to take a decision that would save my relative, he would have done that. And there are essential skills that you need. When I finish, I will put not my pictures, but the actual things in a presentation and send to your facility so they can share with you. As for my pictures, you don't need them. And for all of us, we should work on our leadership values. All these are my values. You can add yours to it. Remember that there is no value which is negative. Every value has a positive connotation. So whatever your values are, they should lead to something positive. So add yours to mine. Work on your leadership values. Build yourself for leadership. And I want to talk briefly about the keeping up with the world. There are some of us, whatever we are doing, that's the only thing we do. We don't know anything about the other thing. That is not a leader. Because sometimes you'll be called to situations where you need to talk about something else. You need to be part of the conversation. So if the only thing you can talk about is cancer, then the people there, they don't want to talk about cancer. So what would you do? When you are a leader, you should keep up with the world. There are many things going on in the world. Keep up with it so that when you have to advise somebody, you can give a good advice. It may not be in your discipline, but because you are a leader, you can give good advice. And what John C. Maxwell, a globally recognized leadership expert in the US, said, a leader is one who knows the way, which means build yourself. Who goes the way, which means be courageous, be resilient, be somebody who will work hard, be creative, innovative, and shows the way. A leader does not sit down for others to do it. You are part of it. You show the way for others to follow. I thank you. Now let's have the conversation going.
Thank you very much. But please, let's do it harder. Please, Amy. No, please, anybody. Okay, so before we have our questions, I'm sure we have a tall list of questions. I had written a lot, but Prof had done justice to my questions. But before we ask our questions, we want to take a short break. And before the cultural troupe would come, they would have about 5 minutes to give us a wonderful display. We would say that indeed, Prof, what you have shared with us is nothing short of powerful. Indeed, a woman of many parts, and I have a long way to go. A long way to go. I don't know about you, but I can say one thing. My light, as a candle, a human being, as a candle, my light is lit. I don't know about you. At this very moment, we understand that a number of people have joined us online. We acknowledge you and we say welcome. If you have questions for us, please drop it in the chat. And also, please share the link. If you are here, share the link with your friends to also join us online. At this very moment, we would want to take a moment and celebrate who we are. Through rhythm, movement, and tradition, we invite to sit back and enjoy a cultural display from the UHAS Cultural Troupe. They have 5 minutes. Please, let's dance. Clap for them. Indeed, that is amazing. Our ears have been tickled, and thank you very much for sharing our culture with all of us. And I couldn't wait to dance, but I was dancing in my seat. So from this point, I'm sure many of us have jotted down questions for Prof. I have. You could see me writing plenty. But at this very moment, we want to shift from inspiration to interaction. In this first engagement, we will explore early life experience of Prof, education, and also parenting through the lens of leadership. Prof shared so many things. Some stood out. Now we know we need to get campaign managers as we go on. So at this point, Prof, please, who would have a question for Prof? Jot it down and she would answer your question shortly. Prof, probably I would start. We would go with the structure of your childhood experience. What aspect of your childhood or upbringing would you say most shape who you are as a leader today?
Okay, good, thank you. So I would say that it was my church, the church, and from home. I learned a lot from my parents as a Reverend Minister in the of Mami, and I learned so much from church. I mentioned when I was speaking that you have to go to church a lot, and you also have to join many organizations. And there were many things that were taught in these organizations, not just Sunday school, Girls Brigade, Methodist Guild, Girls Fellowship, and in all these places, I learned how to live with people. I was living with my siblings, but to live with others who are not your blood relations and still accept them, I learned from the church. Yeah. From school, yes, I made a lot of friends when I went to school, and I went to many schools. I started my nursery at Isikado Methodist School. I went to Solpa Methodist School from class 1 to 4. I went to Tema Padmore Street Primary School from class 5 to class 6. I went to Koforidua Methodist Girls for middle school. And it was because my father was being transferred around Ghana. And because of that, you always make new friends, but you are not there for long. And I'm very sure that was why I wasn't a keen leader, like class prefect, school prefect, and all that, because you just go in for 2 years and you are transferred. But I learned a lot from church.
Thank you very much. We've heard of missionary kids who don't want to be in the faith, and also that's in academia. I've heard someone say they don't think anyone can hold faith or believe in God and still be in academia. And I don't know what you make of it.
I think it's a very wrong perception. Every human being has something that holds him or her body and soul together. If somebody says, I have learned so much, I'm so educated that I don't believe in God, where the Bible says who that person is, I'm not going to say it here. But whoever you are, you know there is some supreme being that you cannot actually practically point to, but you know you believe there's something there. Because the world, even those who are evolutionists, they don't believe that the world just evolved like that. There must have been something. And I was brought up in the Christian faith, Methodist faith, and I think that those of us who are educated, we are actually the ones to believe that there is some supernatural power. And in all my work, I saw that when I was down, my faith was what gave me stability. When I had issues with people, I could go back into myself and pray. I could sing, and it wasn't like I never had issues in my leadership journey. I did. There were times that I felt, no, I was so down, but I quickly picked myself up, because from my upbringing, when everything goes against you, it's your faith that gives you stability. And that is what has kept me going all this while.
Thank you very much. That is quite profound. In other words, in our life or in our journey of life, we would come across hurdles and barriers, but you need to hold on to something to overcome where you get to. At this point, it would be good to hear from you. Do you have questions for Prof? Especially with regards to her childhood experiences and anything with regards to her childhood. Any missionary kid here? Any questions? Okay. So whilst we are still thinking through, some are scratching their heads. So I would want to ask this, your education journey. You had described some, but I would want to know what was the most pivotal moment during your academic journey that challenged or affirmed your leadership aspirations?
Challenged my leadership aspirations. My journey, my education journey, if I move away from the basic education to secondary school, I went to Odan Secondary School. I went to Asanteman Secondary School for 1 year in Kumasi as a day student, and I went to Odan Secondary School to continue also as a day student. It was only when I went to Commander Training College that I lived in the boarding house. If there was one thing that challenged me in secondary school, it was trying to find myself as a person who has grown up in the mission house and balancing it with the challenges that you face as a young adult. We are 5 siblings in the family. I'm the third, and I don't need anybody to tell me that I was a nonconformist. I knew it myself, that I was nonconformist. Because I challenged many things. I wanted to understand, many things that happen around us. And that was a trying moment for me because it was difficult for my parents to accept that I cannot be a straitjacket softener, a minister, a child of the man's. And it was difficult for me because I wanted to be both. And I can see many young adults trying very hard to be both, to be what their parents want them to be and be themselves. But my parents were very objective in life. My father would say that if you see young people wearing tight trousers and jeans, don't worry. Very soon, they'll be wearing big ones. The only thing you have to make sure of is that they shouldn't go out naked. Yes, if you are wearing something which exposes your body, you cannot wear that. But if it doesn't expose your body and it is just fashion, just let them do it. It won't be long. They will do the opposite because fashion never stays. So they were very objective in some of the things of the world, and they gave us the chance to explore things, to see ourselves. But I know that growing up, I was a nonconformist. I challenged many of the things that they wanted me to do. But all these did not affect how I grew up to become a leader, because the path in the Bible that says that train up a child the way he should go, and I will depart, but I will be prompted and I will come back. So I had challenges, but they did not actually affect what I became in the future. They actually made me better, because from the time that I became a leader, I realized that I cannot hold bitterness against anybody. Whatever you do to me, if I don't like it, I'll tell you right away that I didn't like what you did. But when I leave this hall, I don't have the space in my heart to keep that bitterness. And I think it came from all the different things that I did, and they forgave me. So I also felt that maybe that is how to lead other people. And that is how to help other people to accept you, to accept your leadership. A leader who holds grudges will not move far, because you are leading people from different backgrounds. You must be accommodating to some extent without compromising on what is ethical, what is right, what is morally expected to be done. So yes, I had my own tricks, but they didn't actually stop the way I presented myself to become a leader.
To aspirants here. Sorry. To aspirants here, it means we shouldn't give up on our children. Keep going. Prof, I want to know, I think, please, do we have questions yet? Oh, we do. Great. Mine would hold. Okay, great.
Her Excellency, my name is Alexander. I am part of the Onlep program. Please, in your presentation, you made mention of a lot of adopted children. So I was also looking forward to make myself available for you to adopt me. I'm a young man and I'm still ready to be adopted by Her Excellency. Please, is it possible?
Please, you have to join the queue. I've already registered for number 1. Prof, please.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have another question. Our lady, you had a question for us? Did you have a question?
I think somebody has a question over there.
Okay. Thank you. Please, I have 3 questions. And please forgive me, I'm a slow speaker. Please, we often hear people say the things we need in order to succeed in life are not things that they teach us in school. We hear also in the Bible, King Solomon says something like, the race is not for the swift, and food and success does not come through the brilliant. And for you, certainly leadership and the ability to adjust and learn new things played a significant role in your ascension to where you are now. I want to ask, what role did academics and good performance play in your journey? So that's the first question.
Okay, I should answer it. Okay. So, in trying to build yourself up, there are 2 categories of skills. You have the hard skills and you have the soft skills. For the hard skills, you go to school, you are taught in the classroom. For example, if you are here training as a student to become a nurse, you are taught in the classroom how to be a nurse. If you want to become a doctor, you are taught in the classroom how to be a doctor. You need those hard skills to be able to perform or to act in your profession. Without that qualification, you cannot be a doctor, you cannot be a nurse, right? But there are also soft skills. There are soft skills. And most of the soft skills are not taught in the classroom. They are taught through experiential learning. You get into the situation and you learn how to work, how to succeed in that situation. Even if there is a simulation of how to get soft skills, it is not natural, it is contrived, it is composed for teaching you. So how to deal with people, you learn from experiencing people. You learn how to be humble. You learn how to be humble through experiencing people, getting into situations where you know that you are right, but you need to keep to yourself and let somebody else do what you should have done. These things you will not be taught in the classroom as lessons that you write an exam on. What is the meaning of being humble? Nobody will teach you that. But they will teach you the hard skills and you learn the experiential skills. That is why sometimes you go on clinicals. You go and meet the patient and you are given a case and you have to think through how to make the hard skills appear in the soft skills. So as a person, while you are growing up in your profession, you must realize that the hard skills are as important as the soft skills. If you do not have the qualification to be a nurse, no matter how patient you are, nobody is going to make you a nurse. You must first get the hard skills, the qualification. So that is what you should do. And you must excel in it. Remember what I said, my father said, whatever you are given to do, if you accept to do it to the best of your ability. You must excel at what you do. And especially for those of you in this university who hold our lives in your hands, right? You cannot afford not to do well. So remember, do well at the hard skills, do well, learn experientially from experience, the soft skills. And when you put the two together, you will go very far.
Thank you very much, Prof. We would want to know your name. So please go and mention your name. So when we see you, we know the Prof to be is coming.
Please, my name is Precious. I'm in level 300 pharmacy. Please, for my second question, now we have a lot to at our disposal to like well, in short, we have too much to work with. You want to become a doctor, a medical doctor, the school gives you this, and then you are stranded. My second question goes like this: is there anything that you place too much emphasis on that, as you grew, you realized was not very important? And
I can point to one thing, but I can point to the many values that we are socialized in, to know what is right and what is not right, and to tell yourself that I will be ethical even when nobody is watching. I will do what is right. Even under pressure, I will do what is right and accept that posterity will absolve me. I think it's a very, very important principle. If we all take that principle, I'm sure our nation will go places. Because when somebody is watching, you can do what is right. But when nobody is watching, you should still do what is right. And I think that is a good principle to have. In terms of studies, in terms of how you relate to people, in terms of what you do for yourself.
Thank you. For my final question, if you should go back to your undergraduate years, is there something that you do differently? Is there something you regretted doing, and then if you should go back, you do differently?
As a person, I don't hold regrets. As a person, I don't hold regrets. I have had my life, traveled it in different ways. I have had ups, I have had downs, but I don't hold regrets. And I try to enjoy any moment I find myself in. If it didn't go well with me, I don't take it as the end of the world. I find a way of making it better for myself. Remember I told you that I didn't pass my mathematics? Yeah, I didn't pass my mathematics well. And those days, if you do not pass your mathematics well, you may still be taken in the teacher training college, and you have to pass before you finish teacher training college. The year that I was forced to go to teacher training college, just that year, they said if you do not pass your math, or you do not pass your English, you cannot go to post-secondary and then pass it before you finish. You go to post-middle. And I felt like I had been degraded, demoted. I went to secondary school, so how can you put me with people who didn't go to secondary school? You know, my mentality was that I am better than those in the post-middle class. So I had ups, I had downs, but these did not define me. Because, well, if I had not taken heed to my parents' advice to go to the training college, maybe I'll still be writing the mathematics. And I wouldn't be here. But when I went, I saw others who also did not pass mathematics, and they were also in the post-middle stream. And I also saw that if I want to pick myself from this line, I should try and pass my mathematics. So by the time I finished training college, I had passed my mathematics, packed it neatly away and put it somewhere because I didn't want to have anything to do with mathematics. So I've had ups, I've had downs, But I don't have regrets, because whatever situation I went into, by the grace of God, they've turned to be end positively for me. If you dwell in your regrets, you are not going to go anywhere.
Okay, you have a question. So, very good question, our pharmacy student. Well done. Yeah. Please ask your question.
Supportive system. Obstacles come from um, your colleagues. Obstacles come from the environment as a whole. You may not have the enabling environment, and you keep on pushing, and you keep on falling and standing up, falling, and someone will come and tell you, this might not be the will of God for you. So, at what point do you actually draw the line? At what point is, how thin is the margin, how large is the margin between what you actually desire, where you want to be, where you aspire to see yourself, and what God actually wants you to be? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sometimes you get all these distractions around you, and you are in the middle. What we sometimes fail to do is to step back and examine ourselves. So when you have everything going on against you, it is better for you to step back and examine yourself. What is it about me? Perhaps it is me. Perhaps I have to change what I want, or perhaps I have to change the way I do things. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, as for me, this is the way I talk. As for me, this is the way I do my thing. You either accept it or not. No. The society is made up of people from different backgrounds, including you. So when you have everybody around you saying something which is not supportive of you, you must examine yourself. What am I not doing right? How can I modify what I do so that other people would accept what I do? But most of the time, we don't do that because we are leaders and we think we are right. A leader who thinks that he or she is always right is not a good leader. The person is a boss. If you are a good leader, you should note that just as your subordinates have weaknesses, just as they have flaws, you as a person, you also have flaws. You also have weaknesses. You can't be correct, perfect every time. So when you have all people around you saying there's something wrong with you, please step aside and find out what is wrong. What am I not doing right? And I also tell people that in life, you should have somebody who can tell you what is wrong about you in your face, and you won't be angry. If you don't have that person, then you are handicapped. There must be one person in your life who can tell you, you think your hairstyle is beautiful. Please, it is not beautiful. Go and change it. You look like something else. And you won't get angry. There must be that person. In the Bible, that person is called Nathan. You must have a Nathan. Somebody who can tell you that, the way you spoke to this man wasn't appropriate. You have all your excuses for speaking to that man that way. But this person should be able to tell you, and you wouldn't take offense, because you know that this person has very good intentions for you. If you don't have that person, And everybody says, oh, you're doing the right thing. Oh, you know. You won't go very far. So, my sister, when you see that many people have ganged around you, against you, people that you even expect will support you, they do not support you the way you expect them. Just get back into your corner and examine your own self, how you are relating to people. And as for the person who says it is not the will of God, how did God tell the person? And God didn't tell you yourself. So do an introspection. And sometimes the things we want are not the things that to be for us. If I tell you what I wanted to do, you will laugh. Because when I was in secondary school, I wanted to be a private secretary, a bilingual private secretary. If I give you my reason, why would I want to be a bilingual private secretary? Because I see secretaries on television. They wear high heels like this, and I love to wear high heels like this. They are smartly dressed, and I want to be smartly dressed. And then they hold the briefcase of their bosses and they follow them. And I thought that was nice. That was what I wanted to be. So when I didn't pass, my mother and my parents said, go to a training college. I didn't see myself, no. Teachers do not dress. And me, I want to dress. So sometimes the things that we want, and especially the youth, the things that we want, they are not the things that we have to follow because they are not what we have to do. So when people tell you that, oh, I can see that you like doing this, but don't you think that you can do better in this? Listen and reflect over it. So when they say it's the will of God, if it's God's will, God will tell you.
Hello. Please, my name is Enam from the Diet Unit, Diet Department. Please, my question is, please, you said that you were told by your parents to go for the teaching training college course. So I want to ask, how did you adjust to it? Because you just said you wanted to be a bilingual secretary. And also, as a female, how were you able to adjust or combine academics and then leadership? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anam. Yes, my parents forced me to go to teacher training college, and I must confess that my first year, I didn't actually put much into the academic work because those who were in my class did not go to secondary school. So I could go to class and just, sleep or do something, and I will still pass. And I thought I was doing it to spite my parents because I didn't want to be there. Maybe the turnaround. When I went for my first teaching practice, I was deeply touched. I saw how the kids were so happy to have me in their class. And I said, well, maybe I'm doing something good. And at the end of the day, when I go back to my dormitory and I sit down to plan my lesson notes for the next day, I see that I'm eager to do it and do it well. So gradually, I realized that I can teach. And then I did well. I got distinction in my first teaching practice. So the second teaching practice, I put in a lot more effort. So I gradually identified that maybe I can teach and I can still enjoy it. And that was when I said that if I'm going to teach, then I will teach at the highest level of education, which meant that I should prepare myself for the highest level of education. And it meant going to do a first degree, going to do a master's, going to do a PhD. And I worked towards that. So you may have a program that the university forced you into. You came with some entry characteristics and you want to do something, and we said, no. we cannot let you do this because of your aggregate, go and do that one. You can never tell, maybe that's where you excel. Just put yourself to it and do it well. The second part about leadership, being a woman and leadership. If I know that she will ask me about balancing, but being a woman and leadership, remember I told the Onlep students that if you were a woman, you have to prove yourself twice, the double bind. People expect you to behave like a male because people are more familiar with a male who is a leader than a female who is a leader. So they expect you to behave like a leader, in their mind, a male. They also expect you to be a female. You care about people, you are soft. So you have to blend the two. And I learned that very early from one of my mentors, Professor Nano Pokajaman, who was my lecturer. She taught me from level 100 to 400 and was my head of department. So when I became an assistant lecturer, she was the head of my department, and she picked me like an adopted daughter and made sure that I excelled. So I saw how she led. Have a role model and learn from the role model, because if you are a woman, it is more difficult. It is more difficult. You have to learn how to balance yourself and don't get easily angry, because people will say that you were angry because you were a woman. Somebody has a mic.
So we have many questions.
Okay, somebody too is there.
Interesting. Okay,
Hello.
so
Yes.
please,
Hello.
since he's up,
Yes.
since he's up, let him
Hello.
ask. Yeah, hi. I can see you, beautiful lady. But since he's already standing, let him. Then I'll come to you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Yeah.
evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Thank you for opening your life book for us to read this evening. My name is Barnabas Manlokia. I am a member of the Onlep group. I have a couple of questions for you. The first one has to do with being a middle-range manager or leader, if you like. And most of us in the Onlep program are in the middle line of leadership position. It is often seen as the most difficult part of leadership role. And the reason is that those below you are expecting you to be on their side and fight for them. Those above you in management position are expecting you to be on their side, or if you like, represent them on the ground and ensure that policies are implemented. So there is often a conflict. You are often conflicted because those below you think that you are for management, those above you think that you are for leaders when you should be for them. How do you manage such a difficult position?
I think the first thing that will help you will be being transparent and being able to communicate, especially to those who are below you. I have been in that situation before. I have been a head of department and a dean. Sometimes you think you are part of management. Other times you think you are not part of management. Management brings policies from the top to you, and then you have to implement them. It's a difficult situation, but how you can help yourself is to be transparent and to communicate your leadership thoughts very well with those below you. You cannot go to the people that you lead as a middle level manager and say, no, those up there said that they usually say, management has decided that you should do this. But you are also part of management. As a member of the middle level, you are part of management. So you cannot say that management has said that you should do this and then you pull yourself away from it. No. You go there and communicate and explain to them why this policy should be run. Even if you didn't agree with the top when they were deciding on that, you go there and you try to educate your people why this policy is there. You don't go there and say, that was what they said. That's what they said at management meeting, as if you are not part of it. You are part of it. So it is a difficult situation, but remember that within your small unit, you are management. So you cannot absolve yourself if anything happens. And then when you go to the top management, you also carry in the thoughts of those you lead to top management. So again, you cannot go and say, the people there say that you should do this. No. So you must be transparent and you must communicate your thoughts well as a leader. Genuinely, sometimes you do not agree with what management has said. But you need to educate yourself as to why management is taking this step. I remember when COVID came and we did the, don't come to school, we locked up. All the universities were locked up. And so our students were away. We were just about writing our examination when COVID came and we locked up. And some people did examinations by proxy, online. And they think they did well. We do not know. But we realized that we didn't have the facilities to get our students who were living in my hometown is Abodom, where they may not even get access to internet, to do online exam. So we said, okay, we will let the students come on campus. Again, I had to take that decision because I was the chair of APMC. I had to go and convince academic board that let us get the students to come because the government has opened up a little. They asked me what I would do so that we don't have a COVID. I gave them my steps. I had to make a flyer with myself and a mask. No, wear your mask. It was over all the billboards on campus. I couldn't go to the students to tell them that management says you should come to campus and write your exams because we don't have the facilities to let you do what Legon and KNUST and the others are doing. I had to go and convince the student leaders that it is good that they come to campus to do it. And one of the things I said was that, there are many stories in the media that people are writing exams for others in other universities. We want you to be confident that whatever grade you got, you wrote it yourself. That when you go to another university and you present your certificate, they will know that you did it yourself because they know that UCC, they didn't write online examination during COVID when people were copying for others. I negotiated with them and they accepted. So it's a way of communicating to them the essence of a decision of management. Instead of saying, you see, management says you should come and write your exams even in COVID time. I have told them, but they will listen to me. So come and write your exam. Because I was able to convince them, when it came to graduation, and the students said, well, we have to come in person and do the graduation, then I had to go and convince management that, you know what, we said they should come and write exams. They came to write exams in person. Graduation, you shouldn't do it online because it will not be fair to the students. Let them come. We will get a stadium and do it. And management said, okay, we buy your argument. So sometimes you need to play it well. You need to play it well, manage the two different groups, and still have your sanity intact. And not feel that you have betrayed any good. But it's a difficult situation. That's one I assure you. It's a difficult situation.
So thank you very much, Prof. Now it's a race against time. And we have our online audience as well, so it would be good to limit your question to just one. So pardon me. When we are done, Prof will be available to interact with us as well. So if you have questions, you can do so. And we'll also take selfies with her as well. So kindly pardon me on this.
There's a lady over there. Okay.
Prof, you are well of wisdom and inspiration, so the questions are pouring in online as well. Okay. So I think the other lady who I said she should hold on, then I'll come to our beautiful fair lady.
Okay. Hello. I wanted to ask, basically it's about some advice. Back in level 100, when we're doing our vocational training on basic nursing, I'm a medical student, level 300 medical student, and we do vocational training to let us, like to educate us and to make us aware of the workload of nurses. So I think 2 weeks in, I was moved to another ward, the surgical ward, and there was one particular patient that I felt was severely neglected. And I wanted to speak up about it, but I didn't know who to go to because it seems that some of the nurses there, they were quite big and scary, and I was young. I didn't know. I didn't know how to handle the situation. I felt like it was unfair because he's also a patient and he's definitely paying bills. So why is it that he is not getting the same treatment and others who seem to be well off, like you can see there's this other patient who has money, so he gets top-notch quality treatment. But this poor old man, whose son visits him every morning and sometimes even stays overnight with him, isn't getting the same treatment. I just want to know, like, if I do find myself in the same situation, what could I do different? Because I feel like I was a coward and I feel like I could have at least done something, and still haunts me to this day.
Oh, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself because you're not going to go into the real world and you cannot be carrying this every time that some patient is not well attended to due to no fault of yours. But what you could have done was to talk to one of the nurses or your lecturers. You could have talked to that person. At least if you were not very, you didn't have very free relationship with the nurses there because you were a student. At least your lecturers, you could confide in somebody so that they talk to the nurses when they come on the rotation. Because it is good that you felt sad for the person. That is the human part of you, not even the nursing part of you, but the human part of you. That another human being is suffering and the person doesn't get the care that he should get. So you could have spoken to any of your lecturers to help you. It is good that when something is going wrong, you don't keep quiet, but you must manage your advocacy in a way that will not attract negative attention to you. So next time, look for somebody that you can talk to. If it is your lecturer or even among the nurses, you will find somebody that you can talk to.
It was the other student nurses who would notice this and they would try to help. It was like more of a like, we can't really say anything because like we can't.
You are students and you need your grades. But you could have spoken to your lecturers. Yeah. Next time, speak to your lecturers. You see, remember I said that you should build a support group as you grow up. You build a support group at home and you build it at your workplace too. You build a support group at your home and at your workplace so that at any given time, there's somebody you can fall on when you have difficulties in doing your work. But I'll just advise you, don't hold on to that incident. You did your best. The thought alone was good. But next time, you know how to approach the situation. Forgive yourself.
Thank you very much, Prof. Yes, the lady in green, then I'll go online.
Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us, Prof. My name is Nostochi from Nigeria. I'm one of the Onlep students. So my question is this. You are in a setting and you want to make change. And it's obvious that in maybe this department or this area, there should be change. And it's like you're the only one noticing it. And there is this saying that if you can't beat them, you join them. So at the same time, you don't want to join because maybe the policies or the way they do things doesn't align with you. And at the same time, if you don't join and you just give up on your dream, you feel frustrated. You don't know what to do. You can't join and you can't beat them.
So in that situation, what do you do? Please, ma'am, I want to know.
Thank you very much. The mantra that if you cannot beat them, you join them, it doesn't work in all situations. Yeah, if it's a good thing, yes, you're trying to do a bad thing and you couldn't, so you join those who are doing good. But if it's a bad thing, I don't think it works. In such a situation, the situation that you're talking about, if it were me, I would start converting people one by one. I'll start converting people one by one. So I know that the whole team is doing it this way. Personally, I feel there's something wrong with this. So I'll start cultivating people to understand what I think we should do. If I get one person on my side, then now we are two people. And then I try to cultivate others and see how it will go. If it is a policy that you think there's something wrong with, then it means you must tackle it from a different angle. Just like what the students said. If it's a policy, if something is wrong and you know that it's above you, then you need to get somebody who is at the level of those above so the person can speak to those who are making those policies. But if it's about what you do in your wards, and I know you have teams, you have the consultants, you have the nurses, you have all the people there in the team, and you know that something is not going well, I think that you should speak about it. But if nobody is listening, try to cultivate the people one by one to understand what you're. Don't throw your hands up in the air. And especially with what you are doing, it's a matter of life and death. And you never forgive yourself if you do not do your part to correct the situation. So never give up, keep trying, but try to cultivate people in the team one by one.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think you should write a book, My Life. And
I'm working on it.
please do, and we'll love to read it and keep it in our libraries and share with our children, and we'll take inspirations from there. So my class rep has a question. This one is biased, but I'll let him ask, then we'll move online.
Much. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Please, I know sometimes being a leader can look like a burden, and also as students you are overwhelmed with a lot of tasks, and you have to balance between being a leader and your academics. Yeah, I want to ask that for you, when you were a leader, like what helped you balance between academics and being a successful leader?
I think it's about planning your life, organizing yourself. Even as an adult, I have a lot of things to do. If I tell you the things I do, you will marvel. I have a lot of things to do. It is just about planning your life. Sometimes and I know that she talks about balancing family life and leadership. Sometimes some part of it will go up and another part will come down. But then you should remember that you should bring that part two up. If you are a student leader, you have your academic work to also take care of. Being a student leader is going to give you the skills that eventually when you get into adult life, real life, the job marketplace, you can tap on those skills for your good. But you also need your qualification, the hard skills. You need your academic qualification. So you need to work at how you can do the two and not be overwhelmed. Most of the time, we waste our time on things that do not help us. Most of the time. Because you know that you were a student leader, you have to do this and do that and do that. You also know that you were a student, you have to write your papers and do that. And then you spend your time going to sit somewhere and just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk over nothing. Sometimes we waste our time, precious time that we can put to some things. I told you when I was speaking that I love parties. I have fun in my life, but you wouldn't get me just getting up to go visiting people because they are my friends. No. I make time for myself, I make time for my friends, but it is not what I do every day of my life. So you need to plan at this point in your life, what is your priority? Leadership skills are very important for you when you leave school, but your academic work is also very, very important. There are some students, I don't know about UHAS, but in UCC, there are some students who spend a lot of their time on the fields praying. Is it here too? Sometimes they pray binding lectures. Binding lectures so that they wouldn't give them difficult questions in examination. That time that you are praying binding lectures, you could have been in the library and God will have helped you to remember what you learned. So plan and organize your life. It is good to have social life because you are a social being. It is also good to know what is your priority at any given time and learn to balance it. Don't waste your time on things that will not bring you any profit.
Thank you very much, Prof. We have come to the end of our session, but Prof. VC, with your permission, 2 minutes to ask a question from an online audience. And this 2 questions, great. Thank you very much. This one, the last but one. Prof, so this is from Nanaba, and she says, very great insights there from Prof, and we are most grateful. But please, I want to ask Prof if she has experienced any gender stereotypes in performing her roles, and if yes, how did you handle it?
Yes, I have. I've had instances where people thought that because I was a woman, I was behaving in a certain way. But I convinced myself that I was being fair and not just being biased towards a particular gender. There was a department that was bringing people for appointment as assistant lecturers. And I am in the faculty, so I knew that there was a lady there who had almost finished her PhD. But this department head was bringing a male who had just started his PhD. So at the meeting, I said, no, I don't think this is fair. There is a woman in your department who is about finishing. She has actually sent her work for assessment, but you want to bypass her and bring somebody who has just started because that person is a male. Well, until you bring that woman, we are not going to discuss this male. So you go and bring the woman with a man, or you miss both. And he never brought the woman, and he didn't bring the man too. And I heard that he thought I was being biased in a positive way towards the woman and biased in a negative way towards the man. But I thought that I was being fair because we don't have clearance every time. If we have clearance now and somebody is finishing the PhD, I will go for that person than somebody who is starting that I'm not sure even if he will finish. So that was one instance. There was also an instance where somebody spoke to me rudely on the phone, a head of department, and I just told myself that, oh, maybe he's having a bad day. Just let him go. And it worked because after about an hour, he called back and said, Prof, I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. And I said, yeah. In fact, when he called, I didn't pick the phone because there was somebody sitting in front of me. But when I finished with that person, I called him back because I felt that if I don't call him back, he will think it was because he was rude to me that I'm not calling him back. So I called him back. And then he said, I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. I see your point now, so I will do what you wanted me to do. I am sure that at that point, it's not that I'm sure. He even said it, that I was being inconsiderate. Yeah, he said I was being inconsiderate because I was asking him as a head to do something, and he felt that he has a lot of things to do. He has teaching and all that, so I was being inconsiderate, asking him to do what I asked him to do. But I think he sat back, reflected, and realized that I was rather doing him good by advising him to do what he should do. So he came back to apologize. So you have those issues. But the most interesting thing I heard said about me as a woman leader was when I went to University Clubhouse and I saw people I thought were friends. I greeted them nicely, and then I went to the counter to get a bottle of drink, and then I heard them speak behind me. Do you think she would have reached this point if she were married? And I didn't even turn to look at them. I just brushed it on the side. And I'm saying this to encourage those of you who are single men and single women, especially the single women. People will think that because you do not have a husband, you are not responsible. It's not true. Because the things you do as a single woman, it's like doing two jobs. And I'm speaking from experience. It's like doing two jobs. But people will think that you don't have anything to do. It's noise. Don't let it keep you down. It's noise. Don't let it keep you down. Do your best. And when you are rising, people will think that you are sleeping your way up. Don't play into that discourse too. Just work hard and do your job, and you get to where you want to be. So I have experienced it, but no. It's noise. It just went past me.
Thank you very much, Prof. And one thing that is sticking with me with this one is don't let the noise stop you. Prof, I understand there's someone who wants to chip in. He has lots of chips, but he wants to put in just one chip to what you've said. So please, let's hear you.
Thank you so much.
Please be prompt and straight to the point.
Jude Ntefo, a staff at Technical University, and again, an alumnus of the University of Cape Coast. And I came because she was my pro-vice chancellor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so again, mine is a question. I really want to congratulate and commend her highly for her inspiring presentation. She has shared her life with us, her education with us, her leadership experience with us, with grace and authenticity. I say God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a light and the voice of wisdom today. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. On that special note and that chipping in, we come to the end of our session. Prof, indeed, it has been inspiring, and I'm lost for words. Usually, I love to put words together, but this one, I'm lost for words. What I can say is it has truly been a great journey. Honorable Vice Chancellor has something special for you, so she would want you to stay here. So, Prof, as Prof would come, it's been a journey filled with wisdom and reflections. We've danced, we've dialogued. Today, we have had our lives packed. Prof is coming.
Thank you very much. You can have your seat. Can we stand? Can we stand? Oh, please, you sit, because you are the one we are ordering. You sit. Thank you. Can we give a thunderous applause? Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Thank you. Please have a seat. May I invite my registrar upstage? My registrar will read a citation. Madam Speaker, can you stand and keep standing? And maybe you can put your microphone down now. Thank you. Oh, okay. So I requested for this song for her. It's my favorite song also. Can we stand? Can we stand and acknowledge God? The- I will sing of the goodness of God. What the other song? You have led me through the fire, darkness now. You are close than no other. No, you are the Father. No, you are the friend. I have played in the goodness of God. From my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Registrar, please.
Thank you very much. Citation in honor of Her Excellency, Professor Dora Francisca Edubuando. The University of Health and Allied Sciences, together with our esteemed partners, the International Society of Nurses in Cancer Care, City Cancer Challenge, and Amgen, for the Oncology Nurse Leadership Program in Africa, we extend our deepest appreciation to you, Her Excellency, Professor Dora Francisca Edubuando, for your inspiring and life-changing engagement at the Maiden Fireside Leadership Chat. From humble beginnings as a teaching assistant in 1993 at the University of Cape Coast, you rose through the ranks to senior research assistant, assistant lecturer, lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, and professor of English in 2021. Your over 25-year academic journey, marked by the roles such as coordinator of communication skills, head of English department, and dean of the Faculty of Arts, is a testament to your steadfast commitment to excellence and excellent leadership. You have distinguished yourself in your career, serving as the first female pro-vice-chancellor, female provost of the College of Humanities and Legal Studies, and the first female pro-vice-chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. As a pioneer in many spheres of academic leadership, your legacy continues to shape and inspire countless individuals across Ghana and beyond. Through your tireless efforts and philanthropic work as the Executive Director of the Dora Edubuando Foundation, you have become a beacon of hope and empowerment for young women, supporting many underprivileged female students in their tertiary education, particularly in the central region of Ghana. Your current appointment as Ghana's ambassador to Canada marks a significant milestone in your distinguished career. Leveraging your exceptional leadership skills, academic expertise, and diplomatic acumen to strengthen Ghana-Canada relations and promote mutual interest. I have to do more exercise on my hand. We are honored by your presence and contribution to the maiden edition of the Fireside Leadership Chat. Your presentation and personal experiences shared provided a profound spark for effective leadership. Your insights have not only enriched us, but have also ignited a renewed passion for ethical, impactful, and inclusive leadership in our fields of practice. In recognition of your exceptional leadership, lifelong dedication to education, and commitment to the empowerment of women and the next generation of oncology nurse leaders. We present this citation of appreciation with heartfelt gratitude. Presented today, July 11th, 2025.
Let's give a thunderous applause again. Your citation. Congratulations. Congratulations. You want to say a few words?
I don't want to say I don't know what to say because I know what to say. I am deeply touched by this gesture. I wasn't expecting it. I am very happy sharing my experiences with people who want to be leaders, especially women. And I saw this as an opportunity for me to impact the life of somebody, even if it is one person. So for you to honor me with this, it's like adding to my joy of sharing with others. I am very, very grateful. I'm deeply touched and I'm very, very grateful. Indeed, whatever I am is just by the grace of God. And it is only right that I help others to also get there. Thank you, all of you, for standing up for me and all that. I'm very grateful. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Yes, please, you can take your seats. So I have the honor to give the closing remarks. I have taken a long list of points. I don't want to repeat anything she said, but I was asking myself, is there anybody who has made it and doesn't have a story to tell and didn't go through the mill and didn't go through any suffering or failures? I failed my A-level physics and chemistry. I failed my first attempt at PhD, but I'm here today. And when I listened to her, I said, God, indeed, God, you are faithful. That is why I played my favorite song. Do people look up to you? If nobody is looking up to you, are you looking up to somebody? And what are you looking up to? And you cannot provide others to also look up to you. When you are given the opportunity, do you rise up to the occasion? Her colleagues asked her, and she took it. Do you take it if you are even given the opportunity? Mentorship and other things that she said, this university, we have mentioned it several times. The Onlep student, all the things that you have gone through these 2 weeks has been summarized for you today. True, false? Everything that you have gone through this past 2 weeks or from when we started online, the summary is today, and I cannot thank God enough for the choice of speaker. But I want to emphasize the values that she mentioned that resonate with a lot of the things that we have discussed this week. Hard work. They asked me how many hours I sleep in a day. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm not even sure. Innovation, integrity, resilience, courage, empathy, respect, service, authenticity. These words, we said it several times this week. And it's as if I didn't say anything, I didn't give her a curriculum or anything. And it's as if I had told her what we discussed. The building the capacity. When I shared my CV with you, you were shouting. Now she has done even more than I did. You can't go far if you haven't developed your capacity. If you are given the opportunity, you cannot deliver. And she has told us all the things she did when she built her capacity to get to the high office of a pro-vice chancellor after provost. Most of the time, people get provost and retire. Few people will do provost and do pro-VC. Okay, so she walked the journey. Then I want to also say something small about when you do things well, people notice. The president says, this I know, that I know, this I don't know. And somebody says, she will do the job and do it well. So what are you doing? Remember, you may not know, but people are watching. So when you are doing something, do it well. Our ethos, excellence. Excellence in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. Our students, please, don't forget this. The other thing that I also want to just let us remember is that when you are doing something and people are talking about it, she said, go to your corner and examine yourself. And she added, do an introspection. Sometimes we do things, people are talking about it, and we think that they are being fussy. We think that they are being controlled by the devil or whatever, and we rubbish it. But today we have been told, what is it that I'm doing? How did I do it? Did I miss something? Do an introspection. And above all, the nurses who are here, the other healthcare professionals, it's not only nurses, so the doctors, all of us, the pharmacists, treat all patients equally. Our young student doctor is saying that we treated the one who had money better than the poor patient. It shouldn't be, okay? So long as I'm the carer, I'm the caregiver, I'm the one responsible, God help me to treat all my patients equally. The dietitian, the physiotherapist here, the med lab, you may not come across the patient directly, but they brought this lab sample before the other one. But you were told that this lab sample is from client AB, and so you leave the other one. It's the same as she has said. So it's not only our nurses, but all of us should remember to treat our patients equally. Our moderator, beautiful moderator, Eunice, I called you and you didn't say no. I love your moderation. I love your psychedelic, Eunice, we love you. We love you. You are becoming our star MC moderator, and we love you. Before we take pictures with our first cohort, our history cohort, we want to acknowledge the faculty, the facilitators here. Can you please be upstanding? Prof. Her Excellency, before, now it's diplomacy, so please come on stage. Prof. Adatara, please come on stage. Some are not here, but together, please come up stage. Together with the international facilitators, these men and women left all they have to do these past 2 weeks online, and they are preparing our people to be change makers. So please stand this way. Prof, can you join them to take a history picture? And then the students, you join me before I get down so that when I go down, come back again. What should we do? Okay.
Cheese.
So the students, can you join me before I finish my remarks? I get down, come up again. Go up, students, please go up. Or we should go another step down. Should we? Yeah, another one. Yeah, so that it can. Okay. All right, so before I leave the podium, I want to acknowledge the team that have worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Is John, are you here? Come, let's acknowledge you. Victoria, where are you? Clement, I didn't see Clement in the picture. I'm sure he's still working behind the scenes somewhere. So just be on the green. Please give this gentleman. He has gone through a lot of pressure. Oh, John, it's okay, okay? So Victoria is a landlord in my office. And thank you very much. Please take your seat. Now, Professor, the Excellency that's came, I want to acknowledge her especially. She chaired the search party that appointed our current registrar. And for those of you at UHAS, you know that she did a good job, right? So let's give her a round of applause. We thank you for the work that you did and for giving UHAS a registrar. I know that somebody will give acknowledgement, but my deans and directors, probably see just left because he has to travel to Accra, we want to say thank you. The faculty members want to appreciate your time. The students, give me a wave. You have students too, not Onlep. Thank you for coming. You have done well. I'm sure you have learned something that can be used for the rest of your life. God bless us all. Thank you.
Hello? Are we ready? Have we been sparked? I'm on fire. So at this point, we'd want to take the vote of thanks from Ms. Ijiaku Tochukwu Chiamaka. I hope I didn't massacre your name. Let's watch your step.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of my colleagues for this successful face-to-face learning section of the Onlep here in Ghana. First and foremost, we extend our deepest appreciation to the organizers, facilitators, and sponsors for making this unique program a success. To our esteemed speaker, Her Excellency Professor Dora Francisca, thank you for sharing your insights, knowledge, and expertise. Your experience has not only enlightened us, but has also inspired a new wave of possibilities among nurses in Africa. I want to give a special thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Professor Lydia Aziota. Your guidance as our leader, mentor, mother, and a friend is truly invaluable, and we are extremely grateful. To my fellow participants, thank you for your support, enthusiasm, and engagement. We are the true drivers of change, and our active involvement will ensure that this initiative will have a long-lasting impact. Once again, thank you all for being part of this journey. Let us work together to keep the flame of innovation, education, research, networking, and collaboration burning brightly. God bless Ghana. God bless Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, we are UHAS and we are always on time. At this point, we have come to the end, but this is not the end per se. It's just the beginning for most of us. And as we've been lit, let's go out and light the path for others, as Prof has advocated today. And it will keep burning. Prof, hopefully in 50 years, when I meet you again, you would know that I'm totally burned out. And I'm sure many of us here hold that same promise. Thank you very much. And we do wish you well in your new journey. We know that you are going to do great things. Maybe we may meet at the airport one of these days. So on that note, we would want to close today with a prayer as we began with a prayer. We will stand, pray, and just ask. Okay. Thank you very much. Please, my boss has spoken, and he says, I should say this is middle management to us. So he says, I should tell you that we have refreshment for everyone. However, is a professors first. So please, the professors would go, then the rest of us would please follow, so that we give them the due honor. On this very note, we would want to say a big thank you to the technical team, the ICT team from UHAS, our media fraternity that are here, Prof's PA from UCC. We acknowledge your presence here. We are grateful. And the public affairs department in UHAS and everyone. On this note, Mr. Aliu Mustafa, are you here? Okay, Mr. Aliu, please come as you pray for us. And as he prays, please, we would stand in reverence to God, and right after, I would hear the anthem for UHAS. Thank you for having me and for your wonderful presence. Thank you.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, oh Allah, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today in reflection, learning, and inspiration. We are grateful for the insight shared, the experience discussed, and the heart that have connected in the Fireside Church. As we, oh Lord, increase us in knowledge that benefits, in wisdom that guides, and compassion that heals. Help us to be instruments of mercy and advocates for the vulnerable. Strengthen us in our roles as oncology nurses and leaders, and make us leaders who uplift, support, and serve with sincerity. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you all for coming. We wish you well as you journey to your hotels, your 5-star hotels in Ho, your 3-star hotel homes, and our 1.5-star homes where we are all heading to. We wish you all the best and pray for you because great things are happening here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.